So I don't know about you guys and your boomer parents, but my boomer parents were pretty average boomer parents. They started off with no money. Around the middle age of their life, they got a lot of money, and then they divorced after that. And then since then, the whole family's been broken apart, and we never get to see my father, and we stayed with my mother. And it definitely created a lot of issues, but I don't think that that's the most traumatic experience that my parents made me go through. Not the divorce, not the hungry nights. None of that's actually the worst thing they did. I think the worst thing they ever did was that instead of raising me based on my strengths, or at least the strengths and the desirables they wanted to have in me, they allowed the school system. And I'm sure, yeah, they trusted that school system. Maybe they met the teachers there, but they allowed the school system to raise me while a job took all their time away from me. And the result of that is an extreme lack of security. I'm extremely insecure in every decision I make in my life. I have zero skills. I'm an engineering graduate. I have an engineering degree, but I have zero skills. I could learn how to fix a car, but I was never taught how to fix a car or how to fix engines and how to fix anything. I'm sure I can learn it. I just don't have any of the information in my head. I have no technical abilities. My physical prowess was zero. I was actually an extremely fat child. I maxed out at 260 around 16, 17 years old, which is abysmal. My whole life I was extremely fat, and I think it was from the lack of validation that I got from my parents. And I see that this is a story that's been told 100 trillion million times, and I really believe that a lot of baby boomers, and you can tell the baby boomer parents that raised strong children, they were really popular in high school, they do really good, they're very confident, they aspire to do amazing things, and they're actually accomplishing these things. An idea of this, or an amazing example of this, is Nigel Houston. His parents pulled him out of school, and they put him in, and they knew they wanted him to be a skater. The parents owned their own skate park, and so that's all they developed in him, was his skater prowess and abilities. And now he's one of the best skaters in the world. And now I know he doesn't want to give any of the credit to his father, but I'm telling you 100% his mother wasn't the one that made him that skater. But now she's making all the money off of him, and his dad's been shunned and kicked out. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is that if your parents actually took care of you and raised you right, you might have been a world champion, elite level at whatever it was that you did. So I have some evidences here to show that we actually were raised as slaves. And the first piece of evidence is that, kind of to the point that I've spoken earlier, your parents never raised you and developed your skills in raising you. Your parents raised you by feeding you. Your parents raised you by giving you some food and allowing you the capability of accessing your school and coming back home, giving you an avenue to go to and come back from school. But I never really when I was young, I never seen parents come out after work and skateboard with their children or practice the same activities that the children were doing. I remember we would all, around the, evening time, we would leave the house, go around to the grocery store, and we would play soccer there. All the neighborhood kids will be there, and we try to get some soccer games going. Never have I ever seen a parent involve themselves in one of these practices, or make it a thing to show up to even these practices, or force their kids to go to these kind of places. And now I understand what was happening. These parents thought that it was enough to give your child some food and give him some lessons to do in the morning and tell him to finish up his studies in the night time, and they thought that was raising a child. They did not develop any analytical skills in the child. If anything, they scared him to death from making his own choices and decisions by telling him, no, 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 every decision you make and come up with is a wrong decision. They've terrified him and really throttled all the potential in him by putting him in school for over 8 to 10 hours a day. Plus, when he gets home, he's not allowed to sit down and talk to his dad. He's supposed to go study. That's how my dad was. I wasn't allowed to sit down and talk to my dad or watch TV. My dad always forced me to go study because that was an amazing excuse for him to get control of the remote control and get rid of me at the same time. Absolutely worked every single time. I would go into my room and I would just shut the door and I would not study. I would just sit there looking at the wall. And yeah, my parents it almost showed me that my parents really hated me, but I don't blame them. I think a lot of parents do this, and it's not that they hate the children, it's they actually believe that they did enough. And it seems like you can never do enough for your children. Next, guys, the other proof I have that they created a slave and they raised you to be a slave, even though they loved you a lot, they reminded you that there is no other plan. If you failed in college, you are a complete failure. If you could not graduate school, you are beneath the neighborhood child. You're lower than the child that the neighbors have, and therefore you are a weaker, weird, small, lower in status child. And they made sure that you had no other backup plans. They did not allow you to even think about any way to develop a YouTube channel or ability to edit a YouTube channel. They never even wanted you to develop your gaming skills. If you went outside and played too long, they would kick you back into the house. All for this imaginary, value that this school system was supposed to give these children, when I believe the actual value was in allowing these children to be the children that they're supposed to be. If I was allowed to practice my skateboarding and nobody throttled me and nobody told me, oh, well, you gotta get back into the house so you can go to sleep, so you can wake up in the morning, I wouldn't have this mentality where I need this 8 hours of sleep in my head. And I would have probably developed amazing skateboarding skills. I don't think I would have gotten tired until the end of the night, until I've done 3 to 5 hours worth of practice every single night. And I could have developed amazing physical prowess and physical skills. Instead, I had to deny myself the ability to skateboard and hang out with my friends out because I had to go and sleep early for this arbitrary random value I'm gonna gain the next morning in the school system, listening to the same teachers talking about the same exact subject. And it's absolutely disgusting to see what my parents did to me, to be honest with you. I have memories of being so bored inside the house that I would just go outside and literally just try to find something to do. And every single night my parents would bring me back, and I just can imagine in my head, what if I never went back home? What if I just stayed out and tried to figure it out for a night or two? What if I stayed a little bit later than usual? Maybe I wouldn't have glorified staying out late so much that I would have started to do that in my teenage years and try to go against my parents, and try to be defiant and doing so by staying out. Maybe I would have been able to perfect my skateboarding skills and my social skills, and maybe I would have learned how to not need so much sleep so damn often, because right now in this world, whoever sleeps the most is the biggest loser. We live in a world of absolute opportunity cost, and whoever is not using his time in order to benefit himself and grow, or use the money he has in order to grow in the time allotted for him, then he's a complete loser. Because what is to be rich? What is rich? Richness is the accumulation of work. That's what richness is. Being wealthy is an absolute accumulation of work. What does it mean to be wealthy? Is that you work so much that you're wealthy. That's what it means to be wealthy. And so the only way for you to get wealthy is to do that work. And the problem is we completely got throttled, and the only plan that we had was to go to college, graduate, and work as a slave for an employer that has full control of your autonomy. At any point in time, at any whim, they could fire you or hire you or at a lower wage, or just abuse you or give you lower standards of pay. It's absolutely disgusting. And next piece of advice to showcase that your parents made you a slave was the zero support that they gave you while growing up. So not only did our parents just not develop any of our skills, actually they throttled them, and if you're not allowed to skateboard after 8, not only did your parents, give you zero plans except the ability to succeed at college or you're a complete failure, and which sets you up to be an employer, and being an employer is literally slave wage, slavery. Not only that, they also gave you zero support in order to achieve the ability to gain the college education. You literally, I remember at 19, I had to go find a job, and this is the normal average child. At 18 and 19, sometimes at 17, or maybe 14, maybe younger, they're going to Subway, they're working at McDonald's, they're finding a job at the ice rink, literally anywhere that would hire a teenager, because our parents can't afford to give us $7 an hour to go fix something in the garage or to figure out how to do something. Instead, they're so cheap to give their children money and teach them value of it, and maybe in the same time while paying them, teach them how to fix things. Instead, they make you go work for an employer for the lowest wage possible. My first job was at 19 as a dishwasher cleaning bathroom for $7.50. You're telling me my mom cannot afford to give me $25 so I can sit down for 4 to 5 hours, 6 hours and make a YouTube channel? My mom couldn't afford to do that. Instead, she wanted me to go and waste 8 to 12 hours of my day so I can make $70? Absolutely disgusting, guys. At the 10 hours, that's $70. $70. Now I make almost $400 every 10 hours. I was making $70 every 10 hours. My mom couldn't take me to the side and tell me, hey, I don't think this is worth it. How about I just pay you $50 and you just make YouTube videos every single day? If you can make 5 videos, I'll pay you $10 a video. She couldn't do that. She couldn't tell me that. Instead, she made me go and spend all the available hours that I have besides going to school and hanging out and studying to go and work for an employer that is disgracing me, that is humiliating me, that is underpaying me and overworking me. Absolutely disheartening. That itself has to be the 100% proof that my parents wanted a slave. They did not want an autonomous, smart, intellectual. They wanted a slave, a good guy that works so you can pay their bills for them, so you can pay her mortgage, so you can take care of her, because now my mom is divorced. She needs her kids to take care of her, so the only way for them to take care of her is to go work as dishwashers cleaning fucking toilets at 19 instead of developing the skills to be a YouTuber. And it sucks so bad because I made YouTube videos when I was 19 and they made more views than these videos. It sucks so bad to think about. I've had this channel, well, this channel was not for that long, but the channel Batatanator, I've had that channel for over 13 years, guys. 13 to 14 years. I've had that channel since I've come to America. Anyways. And then finally, guys, I mean, if that doesn't prove it, if that doesn't prove that your parents raised you to be a slave, then look at their attitude towards you and the successes you have now. If the successes are not successes of something that they told you to do, if you succeeded because you won a major tournament, because you're an amazing card game player, they couldn't care less. They couldn't care less. They probably would have stopped you from going to the tournament, telling you, well, what about your work? What about the job? And so they care zero about the accomplishments that you have outside of your work. Now, there's possibility maybe if you, like for me, I memorized a little bit of extra Quran. I really impressed my mom. And, physically, I'm getting a little bit bigger. I impressed my brother. And my father is really impressed by that. But I'm just thinking here, I'm like, why, if that's so impressive to you, why didn't you help me develop that? Why did you just make me a worker? And it's because they literally, you know, unfortunately, they, I think, knew you're going to be a slave, but they wanted you to internalize your slavery. So the part of internalizing your slavery is that you're not supposed to know that you don't want to be a slave. You're not supposed to know that you have other opportunities available to you. You're not supposed to know that you could succeed in anything else. You're supposed to have zero security in yourself, zero ability to trust in yourself, and you should only trust in their decisions for you. So anything that you accomplished that was outside, like let's say you did a high score in a game, it didn't matter. If you did, you know, but if you scored really high in a class test, oh, that's amazing. We're gonna take you out for dinner. But God forbid you scored all the goals in tonight's evening match against the other group, the other neighborhood kids. That did not matter. God forbid that you were able to come up with something impressive and stay up late and build it. Or maybe just, it should be impressive just being able to stay up late, you know, skateboarding out or running outside. That didn't matter. Actually, my brother, I remember, he hurt himself while he was roller skating. He was one of the best roller skaters in all of Al-Ain, the Emirates, United Arab Emirates, Al-Ain. We were born there. He was the best roller skater. He was such a good roller skater that the second week he's roller skating, he already had an official team. Like, I mean, not an official team, but like a bunch of skaters wanted him to be on their team, and their team were competing with other people. He was such a good skater, but that didn't matter because one time while he was trying a trick, he hit his head and he got a concussion. So now he has to completely stop roller skating for the rest of his life. And my dad told him that he will never succeed in anything in his life. Until now, my brother never succeeded in anything in his life. Even though he had the most amount of potential in any human being I've ever met, my brother could accomplish anything. My brother could literally probably learn a backflip in a singular day, but he just doesn't have the interest in doing so. I've seen my brother do things I couldn't believe a human being is possible to do. Physically, he has immense amounts of prowess. He's tall, strong, but he completely gave up on life. So what more proof do you want? Your parents did not want you to learn any other skills except how to go to school and be a good student. Your parents had no plans for you except that you're going to come out of college and graduate college with really high grades and go to work for somebody else, or you literally become homeless. Their only plans for you were that you become homeless if you cannot get a job or graduate school. And then what about the zero amounts of support that they gave us, guys? They did not help any one of us. I mean, I wish my parents helped me, told me, hey, come, let's knock on some doors and we'll figure out what the neighbor wants, and maybe they'll give you $50 and you can do that every single day and go knock on a new neighbor's door and see if you can help them in anything. They give you $20. I wish my parents did that. They refused to do that. I actually only got, and I am grateful, I did get an allowance, but I think the allowance really hurt me because I started getting used to the allowance, and because the allowance was very steady, I couldn't get more, so I started stealing. And it really built a bad habit. So instead of giving me an avenue to create more allowance when I need it, I had to, the money was getting spent, and so I had to figure out a way to get more money, and the only way I was able to do that was to steal. So it actually built a really bad habit in me to have that allowance. So I wish instead of giving me an allowance that they gave me kind of a list of duties, and if I accomplish them in a really good job, I get paid really well. If I accomplish them mediocrely, I get paid medium, and if I accomplish them very low, I get paid nothing. I wish they did that. That would have been better. And then finally, guys, they literally raised you to be a good boy. Any accomplishments you had outside of the school or the plan that they had for you was absolutely unnecessary. Why are you even wasting your time in that? They didn't even want to hear about the successes you had. To them, it was mundane, it was small, it was absolutely not care. To them, they had no care about it in the world. But to you, obviously, that was one of the most important moments for you, and it sucked that you had to bring it to them because they really didn't care, and it probably sucked all the joy from that thing from you. Anyways, that's my 4 points, guys. If you disagree with me, I would love to hear how the hell do you disagree with me. My camera just died. Interested in your opinions down below. Peace, everybody.